All right, so today is Sunday. It's a new week tomorrow, and I just want to quickly run through my levels, my plans, and pretty much what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So overall, we are very much so still ranging. I don't think I have a very clear bias at this point. Price action has been very rangy the past few weeks, and we've tried multiple times to get above the value area high of this range, and so far we have been unable to hold support on it on the more macro value area high. So yeah, as of right now, we are very much so still ranging, and market cipher isn't really giving me a clear bias either. 1 hour money flow is kind of starting to bleed out a little bit, but it's also kind of increasing on the bottom here, so not looking very clear in either direction. 4 hour money flow is starting to come down a little bit, but maybe this trigger wave here will want to bring that back to the upside. It's really hard to tell at this point, but I pretty much just want to go through my levels and my plans both to the upside and the downside. So first off, to the downside, we'll start with levels of support. Locally, I am looking at this now as one smaller range. And first idea that I kind of had when I was looking at the charts was a potential SFP of this low. Again, we see this kind of scenario where we get a wick that front ran the value area low. So, potentially if we work our way back down here, could look for an SFP of that low into that value area low. And basically I would look to see if we, tap off the value area low and then reclaim that level. That's a trade setup that I've taken multiple times in the past few weeks. And, it seems to be working as of recently. So that is one idea I had. Another idea is an SFP of this low down here into the point of control and this NDPOC that we have down here. So, okay, on the 4 hour, the NDPOC is coming in around the point of control of that range. But yeah, as you can see on the 24-minute, the point of control is coming in way up here for some reason. I'm looking at the daily point of control from May 2nd, and yeah, so across a lot of time frames, it seems to be moving around a lot. But, on the 4 hour, it's coming in right on top of the larger POC, and on the lower time frames, it is coming in a little bit lower than that point of control. So, I'd probably say that this box in between that point of control and this level, like in between 28,043 and 27,981, I'll call that the NDPOC. There's some time frames where it's coming in all the way up here, but I'm just going to ignore that and say that this zone down here is our NDPOC. So another idea, potential SFP of this low right down here into that area, and then I would look to see if we can reclaim that low afterwards. And I would also look to see if we can reclaim the value area low, just for a little bit more confidence in this continuing to play out. Because, if we can reclaim the value area low, maybe then hold support on it, I think that builds a better case for us making a run up towards the POC and maybe the value area high. So locally, inside of this range, those are pretty much the two ideas I'm looking at. Outside of the range, you could look at a potential liquidity grab from either these lows or this low. And we do have this very key support resistance level that I've been looking at for a while. Probably what I would say is the most key support resistance level in this range, just considering how many times price has respected it. So potentially we could look to grab that liquidity from those lows. And even if we come down below this support resistance level, if we can then reclaim it, that might give me confidence in us, continuing to move up from here. But I do think that if we are unable to claim this support resistance level, that may be a sign that we are getting a move lower. So I would really want to see something that gives me confidence in us reclaiming this level, maybe us then holding support on top of it before then moving higher. Otherwise, I think, if we lose that level, like I said, we could then make a run for the lows of the range, around the value area low. And that is pretty much the last support level I'm looking at inside this range. is the value area low, potentially grabbing the liquidity from down here and then reclaiming the value area low. You could also look at these lows down here, but right now I'm thinking that I would be a bit more cautious with that because we would have to lose a lot of key levels in order to get down there. We'd have to lose the point of control of this range and this key support resistance flip. And at that point, if things are looking really bearish as we're approaching these lows, it may mean that we're just going to continue falling lower. But I have this as an idea, just in case we end up getting some sort of like crazy wick, grab that liquidity and then reclaim it. If things are looking really bullish, then it could be a sign that it was just a liquidity grab and that we're either going to continue trading in this range or maybe then make a move for the highs of the range. But I would say that I would probably be more confident in the support levels above the point of control and above the support resistance level. And even for this trade idea, like I said, I'd want to see us reclaim that support resistance level and then also reclaim the point of control. Otherwise, we could get rejected at any of those key levels, and that could be cause for us to move lower. Now, to the upside, I do still think that if we can find some sort of confident support on top of this macro value area high, that opens the door for higher prices. I do still think there are plenty of key levels outside of this value area, and I think in order to get there, we have to hold support on this value area high. We have been unable to do that. We found a little bit of support here, but then ultimately we just lost it again. And, recently we made another run for that value area high, but, since we have fallen back down below it. So it is starting to look a little bit more unlikely that we will, reclaim that value area high and hold significant support on it. But, it is still possible. And so, if we do that, I think we can then make a run for some of these levels I've been looking at higher. But the first resistance level I'm looking at is this little box of confluence that we have right around here. We got the point of control of this range, the golden pocket, and we have an NDPOC right around the value area high of the range. We also have the previous day value area high. So potentially, if we get another move above that value area high and we reject from this level and start to, maybe lose this point of control, that may be a sign that we're going to fall back into this range again. And so this is just like a little scalp idea I have here. You could even maybe look for a move above the value area high to reject off the 786 and then fall back down below the value area high. I'd have to see what things are looking like in real time in order to kind of make a trading plan here. And then after that, my resistance levels are basically the same as they have been. I'm looking for a potential liquidity grab of these highs into the 786 that we have up here. So that's kind of, idea number one outside of this range. And idea number two is a rejection off of this untapped weekly. It's also the downtrend POC. We also have an untapped daily right above the weekly. So I think this zone right in here is going to be a very key area of resistance. And if we get above that, I'd also be watching these highs for some more potential liquidity. You could look for an SFP there. I don't have that idea marked out, but that is an area I'm going to be watching as well. We also have an NDPOC above those highs, so maybe we see like a really quick wick and then a quick move back down below those highs, kind of SFP them into that NDPOC. And then after that, I'm pretty much watching this high. I have this 15-minute order block marked out, just kind of in case we end up rejecting from there instead of coming for the highs. But like I said, I'd probably be more confident in us taking out the highs, seeing a large decrease of open interest, and then falling back down below the high. And yeah, that's pretty much the plans I'm looking at the moment. We do have a CME gap outside of the value area high. So, that might be a reason for us to make a move outside the value area again. So, I'd be interested to see if we can get that move sometime, early this week, maybe even today. And from there, we're pretty much looking at the same thing. Can we then hold support on this value area high? or can we hold significant support on it before making a move for that CME gap? So yeah, those are all of the levels I'm looking at right now. Other than that, I'd just be looking at, maybe local scalp ideas. I have been scalping this little area that we've been trading in. I took a short from up here, and just recently I took a long from right down here. So yeah, I'm pretty much scalping until we see a move to one of those levels I'm watching. All right, well, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate all of the support on the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.